Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this special edition of TechStrong TV from RSA Conference Broadcast Alley. We are delighted you're joining us. Hope you're enjoying the RSA conference. Of course, it's a little different being virtual rather than in person. But the good news is you can watch what we're doing and then go back and watch any of the sessions you want on demand. Or vice versa, watch this on demand while the sessions are live. In any event, let me introduce you to our next guest, Philippe Humeau. Philippe is the CEO of CrowdSec. He's also a speaker at our DevOps Connect DevSecOps event as part of RSA Conference on Wednesday, May 19th. Philippe, welcome to this TechStrong TV special edition.
Hello, Alan, and thank you for having me on the show.
It's my pleasure. So, Philippe, before we jump into what you're talking about on the 19th, why don't we share with people who maybe, from our RSA conference audience who are maybe not familiar with you and with CrowdSec, and if you don't mind, just maybe a brief background.
Sure. We are trying to deal with a complicated problem. And you're probably familiar with the difference between complex and complicated, right? Einstein solved a complex problem. A complex problem can be solved by one person, a genius, for example, that can deal with all the math behind, right? A complicated problem, on the other end, is a problem that you cannot solve yourself alone, that you need a team to tackle, right? So we are dealing with a complicated problem, okay, which is cybersecurity, right? So it's a problem that has been shown again and again as not being solvable by one person only or one entity, no matter the amount of money they invest. So be it, $500 million as a budget, it won't be enough to tackle the problem. Proof is it did not so far because some major banks and institutions have been hacked, right? So since we're dealing with a complicated problem, we decided to take it on from another angle, and say, let's team together. Let's band together. Even though you might be competitors in real life, even though maybe you're a bank, say, and you have a lot of other banks trying to steal your customer or whatever on a daily basis, if you work together, you'll be better protected because never, ever has one soldier defeated an army except in Hollywood, right?
Absolutely. And then, you know what? That's a great way of framing this conundrum of the complicated versus complex and what you're doing with CrowdSec. Of course, CrowdSec isn't your first foray into cybersecurity. You've been involved in the cybersecurity community for years, your previous companies. And why don't you tell people a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. I've been starting my career as a red team pen tester. So, being there, done that was really a lot of fun. Hell of a fun. I totally encourage people doing this job at the first part of their career because it's extremely interesting. You get to learn a lot. You get to know people in the business that you would never, ever cross otherwise and that are very interested in your art, So it's really cool. But at some point, we decided to go on the other side of the gun, being the defenders. And there's a big difference in between those two worlds. So in the first one, you just have to be right one time, and you get through and you pierce the safe and you get whatever the loot is, right? But when on the defense side, you have to be right every time, every day, every hour and every second, because if you make one mistake, someone is going to exploit it. And that's why I decided later on to switch to defensive security because I found that it was a bigger stake and more interesting to me and to my team. And that's also why we decided to have these, ways of firewall, this massively multiplayer firewall, to develop it because we think only together can we outgun and outnumber the hackers. And if we do so, we'll win this war. There's a way to win this war.
I hope so, and I agree with you. So, Philippe, let's jump into your session for Wednesday, May 19th, as part of DevOps Connect DevSecOps at RSA Conference. Let's start with the title of your session, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's called The Age of Collaborative Security, because we think something new is at stake now. Something, it's ripe in the mind of people. Say, for example, you never ever would have looked into someone telling you like a community-driven GPS, like back in 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But Waze got there and said, okay, look, we solved the problem. Or actually, we made it way better than it used to be before. And just because we done it together. So the age of collaborative security is all about like, okay, this data sphere size is growing by the day. The number of hacking is growing by the day. The amplitude, the magnitude of it, the dangerosity of it, the breakthrough we make in terms of security is going up by the day. Look at what happened recently with this pipeline. It's crazy, right? This Colony pipeline. It's absolutely mind-blowing that a country as US could be maybe crippled by just, some Active Directory or whatever was ciphered and by a malware. That's beyond understanding for me. So what I see here is like, we didn't collaborate enough in cybersecurity. We perceive the other as threats or maybe competitors. And I had a great talk with Mikko Hipponen lately. And the thing was like, he told me something like very eye-opening. So he's working for F-Secure, right? He's a security legend. And he told me like, you know what? 20 years back, when we had one new malware or virus signature, we were super happy. We were the one having it. And we analyzed it and we found a solution for it and we integrated it in the product. And then we realized, all of us in the industry, that we should share the signature with our competitors so that everyone protect themselves against this very pest. And the market would just go bigger. The people would be more protected. The trust in the global, IT sphere would be better. So we will all get out of it richer. There's no lose scenario. It's a non-zero sum game. By teaming and banding together, we are all getting stronger. And this is exactly what this talk is about.
Fantastic. Have you ever presented at RSA conference before?
Yeah, in the innovation track, I think it's a sponsored track by some investors, VCs, but we won an award on the last one this year. We won the innovation award of the RSA Conference Innovation.
Oh, from the Sandbox and Innovation Award. That's great. So that was last year when it was still in person, or this year?
No, sadly, it was already online. Yeah. Because
last year was that was the last event that I went to. And then, of course, everything kind of changed. Here's the good news. Next year's RSA, I think, is scheduled for February 7th and 8th, or that week of the 7th. And it's going to be in person, hopefully, in San Francisco. So maybe we'll have a chance to have you come out there and we can meet in person there. Philippe, I want to thank you for presenting at the DevSecOps DevOps Connect, or DevOps Connect DevSecOps at RSA conference, and then participating. And for people who want to find out more about CrowdSec, who maybe either as a customer, but also to join the crowd, right? How should they do it? What should they do?
Well, the first point of contact for us is definitely our GitHub repository, because the product is open source and free. So we are not looking for customer now. We are just looking for users, which is a nice part, So they can go on GitHub. They can go on https://crowdsec.net. And they can also find us on Gitter and Discord. We are very active. We like to engage with our community and discuss with them. So please crash by, have a talk with us. We'll be delighted.
Absolutely. Philippe, thanks for stopping by Broadcast Alley booth for this. Hey, we're going to be watching your presentation on Wednesday. It should be a good one. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you after RSA back virtually for a while anyway. But good luck, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you, Alan. See you soon.
All right. Philippe Humeau, founder, CEO at CrowdSec, speaking at our DevOps Connect DevSecOps event at RSA conference. That is Wednesday, May 19th. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time in the U.S. and is gone all day. We have about 37 plus speakers speaking, and Philippe is one of them, and it's a good one. You don't want to miss him. This is Alan Schimmel. We're going to be right back from our TechStrong TV special edition here for RSA conference. Stay tuned.